431 billion total real estate transactions. Real estate investments was at 326 billion.
2024 wasn't a bad year.
Every year, Dubai just keeps sort of pushing the limits.
But how does the brokerage industry have to evolve?
3.2, wait for this, billion dirhams in commission. But at the end of the day, each broker needs to build his own personal brand.
Definitely.
And that is something we push all our agents to do.
We've only launched 30 days ago, and we didn't even really do a major launch yet. And alhamdulillah, we're 25% sold already.
Wow. They want a quality product.
Yes.
Clients care about, you know what, I'll pay 10% more, but show me why.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Main Mic, where we always get to meet the greatest and best of our real estate industry here in Dubai's market. And with me today, we have the honor of welcoming Mr. Faruk Say of one of the biggest brokerages in town, Springfield Properties.
Thank you for having me, Aamir. It's a honor to be here with you. You know, finally on your podcast. I've been seeing a lot of your stuff lately. You guys are doing a fabulous job. Of course, you guys have made a great mark in the market very, very quickly. And actually, we're friends from the gym. Actually.
Yeah. We've always seen each other like just basically sweating and we like trying to. It's good to be. We're hating life, and this is finally we get to see each other loving life.
Thank you for having me, man.
No, likewise. Thank you so much for making time and coming on our show. And let's get right to it. Like Dubai, it keeps breaking its own records, right? We think that it's gonna come to an end, and then all of a sudden,
bigger, better news happening in Dubai.
Yeah. And it's all, I give a lot of credit to the brokers, right? Because the market wouldn't be what it is in Dubai if it wasn't for you guys. If it wasn't for you guys putting the extra emphasis on being able to sell Dubai for what it is, right? A lot of people, they just basically try to take orders, but selling Dubai, of course, it's a good product, but then it wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the brokers.
I mean, no doubt there's, a lot of us out here in Dubai, and everyone is, doing well.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty. I mean, just this week, Dubai Media Office released the figures we were just discussing before this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing numbers. This is 25% higher than H1 last year.
Correct.
I mean, our market keeps setting new records. 431 billion total real estate transactions. Real estate investments was at 326 billion,
Wow.
which is a 39% increase as compared to last year. I mean, that is just, those numbers in Dubai are getting bigger and bigger. And obviously
this is with all the news and all the turmoil that's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And we're still breaking records.
I think that is, to some sort of extent, helping Dubai and actually bringing a lot of people from overseas investing in Dubai.
Exactly.
I mean, just this year, I think they had a number 59,000 new investors.
Yeah.
So it says 59,000 new investors in 6 months.
Wow.
Well, that's like nearly close to 10,000 new investors entering into Dubai market every month.
Every month.
I mean, people, countries' populations don't increase by those numbers. You're having new investors coming in and buying.
These are just investors. Imagine the residents that are coming, right?
Yeah.
So I think like one of the things that these numbers confirm for us is that Dubai real estate is not going anywhere, right? We're not hitting any plateaus anytime soon, and the population its proof is in the numbers, right? This is not something that you and I make up.
There's sometimes news going out there. Recently there was a report by Fitch which said that Dubai will see a 15% downward decline in the property prices. And there was a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah.
I happened to see an interview where I was like, man, I want to get to the bottom of this because obviously this really affects us. We are at the forefront of speaking to our investors, making sure that they're making good decisions. So any news like this needs to be really dissected, understood. And honestly, a lot of the numbers that they used for the supply, because see, it's a demand and supply game.
Of course.
So if you're telling me that the prices are going to go down by 15%, it means there's excess supply and the demand isn't matching up to the supply.
Yeah.
So no doubt there's a lot of handovers happening this year and next year. There's going to be a lot of new projects coming up online. However, the numbers that they've used in that Fitch report were actually numbers taken up from the internet, from developers' websites, based on their estimates of when they will. So there's a lot of projects, for example, that there might be 6 months to a year delays.
Exactly.
So a lot of that is not accounted in.
Yeah, they were already counting that as if everything is going to be
Everything is going to be as per plan. Secondly, the biggest question mark in that report was they're not expecting the population to increase by the way that it is increasing, by the numbers that it is increasing at right now. So looking at the current population increase, it is absolutely insane. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but the number of new licenses opening up, the number of new Emirates IDs that are being issued, the numbers are mind-boggling.
Agreed.
Just like these real estate transactions, 10,000 new investors entering into Dubai real estate market month after month after month. These are just new investors, not your repeat investors.
Exactly. And this does not include the monies that are being invested into making Dubai home as a tenant.
Yeah.
Right. And we know 70% of the market is tenants.
Yes, people buying businesses. You have people starting businesses. You have in other sort of investments as well besides real estate, right? So people that are moving to Dubai aren't just buying a home. They're buying, so many other things. They're buying a car. They're putting their kids in school. They're obviously spending money over here. So all of that money enters into
the economy,
into the economy, into the city. So there's so much more that is happening in the city. And I don't see the demand currently. There are no indicators out there in the market. I mean, look at these numbers. 39% increase, man. That is numbers that are unimaginable in most cities around the world.
And already 2024 wasn't a bad year.
Yeah, 22, exactly.
And we exceeded that.
Record breaking. So every year, Dubai just keeps sort of pushing the limits. And I mean, I always say this to all my buyers that imagine today the population is at 4 million. If this population eventually goes to 7.8, that's nearly double of what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's easy to say double the population, but to think about it, you need double the number of schools. You need double the number of
the infrastructure,
shops, double the number of infrastructure, double the number of houses and offices. Imagine we live in a big city.
And that's how you see these cranes justified, right? Because otherwise people would just say that, okay, these cranes, why are we building every day? It's because there's a population that we believe that the government is going to be able to deliver. And until now, they haven't done us wrong, right? They've proven that they will keep their commitments and do what they say they're going to do.
So if any other city around the world said that they want to double their population, I would have major doubts. Not just myself, but anyone
of course
out there would have major doubts. But we've seen this happen in the last 10 years. Our population went up from 1.8 million people in 2012. In a timeline of 12 years, we've seen the population more than double. More than
double, you're right, yeah.
So imagine 1.8 million to right now, we're at 3.95, about 4 million. We've probably touched 4 million by now. So 4 million is the residents in Dubai.
Wow.
Don't forget all our population, which is our daytime population, which is including all the people that come to work in Dubai. So people that live in Sharjah, people that live in Ajman, that commute to Dubai for work. And then, of course, you have the tourist population.
Sure.
8 months of the year, we have a booming tourism market. We have tourists flocking this city. They are also not included in this number. So imagine you need holiday homes, you need more hotels, you need so much more to be built in the city. So I always say, yes, the best time to buy was 4 years ago, but if you believe in the Dubai dream, if you believe in the fact that the city is going to keep growing the way it is growing, you're going to need so much more. You're going to need so much more.
Every sector of Dubai benefits when the population grows, right? I mean, like you said, there's a lot of spin-off business that comes into forms of investment from these investors, and that helps all industries grow, right? The job numbers grow, the infrastructure jobs, everything that has to do with tourism, everything that has to do with construction and real estate, it's all benefiting. So let's get to the point of where does the brokerage industry, how does the brokerage industry, not just from a perspective of more business, but how does the brokerage industry have to evolve to be able to meet the needs of these investors that are coming into the marketplace?
So first of all, the brokers, even this year, I think the numbers are out on this Dubai media report as well. Let me quickly open that because these are historical figures for real estate brokerage companies. We've seen 42,000+ real estate transactions. 3.2, wait for this, billion dirhams in commission. 99% growth in the same period of 2024 as compared to the H1 2025. So there's been a double in the amount of commissions. There's, wait for this, 66,700 brokers just in the last 6 months.
Wow.
All right, taking the total up to 29,000 registered brokers by the Dubai Land Department.
Amazing.
So we're not talking about all the people that are coming in or the referral agents, the unregistered agents. So the number is huge. So even though there are a lot of new brokers coming into the market, there's so much more business happening as well, right? 99%
Because if you look at it from the perspective, if only 6,700 brokers were added, but the business doubled, there's still enough business for everyone.
So everyone within the brokerage company is making a lot more money.
Yeah.
What we've seen in terms of evolving, there's so much more happening in Dubai. AI and technology is changing the game. I was just talking to another developer friend of mine, and we were talking about how today brokers, the tools that we have in order to sell. We were at a development where they were showing how they can show the view from different units now, which is, I'm sure you guys are doing it as well. And there's, where you can go on the 8th floor and see the view. Yeah. Imagine, man, we used to be selling off-plan 15 years ago from
selling off a brochure
physical piece of paper. Now developers aren't even printing out brochures anymore. So
it's very rare to find that.
So the work has evolved. Things have become, I wouldn't say easier, but it's become easier to explain the clients thanks to all the new tech that's out there, your AI, and you can send a link now to a client and he can open it up, see a video, see the visuals of the building, understand the exact view at the exact angle for the right unit that he wants. They can imagine everything, especially when you're selling off plan. So things have evolved and become much better. People are making a lot more informed decisions now as compared to the, obviously 10 years ago.
Sure.
So things are evolving very, very quickly, and I think agents that stay ahead of that curve are going to benefit and see the benefit of this entire evolving industry that we have. I think what's going to happen, we always talk about this in the office, is that 80%, we have the 80-20 rule, of course, most sales organizations, that 80% of the sales are brought in by 20% of the salespeople or 20% of the agents. I think this is now going to become a 90-10 rule.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to go 95-5 rule. So why? Because with these tools, there is a lot more business that's going to be done, but the people who are better trained and agents that are helping their clients make better informed decisions are actually going to we're going to need lesser agents to do more deals. So 10% of the agents might be bringing 90% of the business in the future. So imagine that. So I think the agents that stay ahead of this curve embrace all the new tech that's out there, market themselves, rapidly evolve with the evolving requirements of the buyers. There was 10 years ago, nobody asked us for, so much details as compared to what they ask now.
Yeah.
Clients, the other day I had someone, this is a very interesting story. I had someone in my office who walked in, was an agent of mine. He said, Faruk, there's a client, that wants to meet you. And I was in the middle of a meeting. I said, sure, if it's a client, bring him in. And he comes in, he's a young guy, probably in his late 20s.
Okay.
Sits across from me and, very casual guy sitting down. And I'm like, okay, so what are you looking at? He's like, oh, nothing right now. And I look at my agent, I'm like, he's like, sir, I didn't explain. He's already bought around 18 properties from us. I said, whoa. I said, why didn't you explain that to me before? I would have rolled out the red carpet out there. Anyways, this guy's bought 19 properties.
Wow, nice.
And that's not the surprising part. Surprising part was this was his first visit to Dubai.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
All this
This guy bought 19 properties from us, 19 different transactions, had never come down to Dubai.
My God.
How could he make those decisions? Thanks to tech. He's like,
but also the faith in the city
and
the laws that
exactly. So you're sending money to different developers, and he hasn't bought like 19 units in one development. It's different transactions, different developments. He's like, Faruk, I've walked the entire city. I said, really, in the summer? He's like, no, Google Maps.
Google.
I said, really? I said, well, he's like, Faruk, I've virtually made all my decisions. I've done my research. He's like, I haven't made these decisions lightly.
Yeah.
He was a South American guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So he's come from all the way, closer to where you're from.
Yeah.
And made this entire big journey to Dubai, and made 19 different transactions. First visit to Dubai. So it just shows the pull of the city and the respect that I have to give to these brokers that are doing a fabulous job.
But of course, I would say one thing though. I was in real estate brokerage business before. I was a real estate developer back in South Florida, and you're saying about 90% of the agents do 10% of the business, 10% do 90%. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I feel that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only difference between the 90% and the 10% is the amount of time they invest into educating themselves and being able to get trained to become an expert in the business. Don't you agree?
100%. And I always say this, that, I mean, us as brokers on the other side of the table, I mean, you are building your products. Your product speaks for, whatever work you're doing. We're not building anything. Our job is to give advice.
Yeah.
Our words are our product.
Correct.
So imagine if our words didn't make sense, we wouldn't be able to sell. So a good broker needs to go out, educate himself. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, lazy brokers out there.
Sure.
They read a brochure and they feel like they know the project and they want to start pitching.
Yeah.
Buddy, you need to go and visit the site.
Yeah, you got to know your product.
You got to know your product. You need to know the comps. You need to see what else is selling in this area. If you're selling main realty, you need to know them, know their story, know their other products, know their other projects, see what sets them apart from other developers. So, till you don't deep dive into this, you should not be picking up the phone and selling.
With ChatGPT these days, right? You can be one-upped so quick, right? And if you don't know, your client will be teaching you.
Yeah. And literally, I mean, our clients are so well educated. I mean, imagine this guy said, sometimes it's, if you don't do your research, it could be embarrassing because, like you said, clients have all the tools.
Yes.
So AI is making our life easy, but for the people that are
using them, you're right.
Using the tools, now. I mean, making presentations now, it takes us seconds as compared to I remember in university used to take me a day to make a presentation. Now it's
I mean, I did some presentations on the way here on the flight, and usually I would do one. And now I could do like the whole month's presentations on one flight in.
Exactly. So all of these tools need to be used, and I think the brokerage business is, like I said, there's a lot of money in here. So we're attracting a lot more higher level of talent as well to Dubai. I think in the last 10 years, I have seen the evolution of brokers. The respect that brokers command now in the city is a lot more higher than what it was 10 years ago. I mean, I remember 15 years ago when I was getting into real estate brokerage full time, I had people coming up to me and going like, why do you want to be a broker? Because it was actually looked down upon. Now it's a completely different. It's a very well respected, because brokers are making so much more money now. And with so much more money in the brokerage business, we're attracting a lot more higher level of talent. So that, I think, is going to be something that older brokers need to up their game to compete with the newer talent. Because in our company, I'm looking at this, is that a lot of the newer talent and the newer guys are actually bringing in more sales than the older guys. The older guys are kind of stuck in their ways sometimes, and they don't want to evolve. They want to just keep working in that small group of clients that they're servicing. But there's 59,000 new investors coming in. It's not the old guys only that are buying. They're still buying. Obviously, they're making money, and if you make money in the city, it's going to keep, you'll keep on reinvesting. But 59,000 new investors. So you need to.
We're not innovating in terms of marketing from any other city.
And this is
Dubai, and
it's Dubai
endorsed by exactly. That basically gives you that it's real numbers. It's not just fabricated.
Exactly.
Tell me about your sales process. How is it a new agent, if they walk in through the doors of Springfield Properties tomorrow? What can they expect to learn from your team to be able to become an expert in the business?
All right. So in terms of sales and the sales process, anyone who's entering the brokerage business right now, we make sure that, as we discussed, training is the most important thing for us. In the first 3 months, we put them through a very rigorous training process where literally every day we have a training in our office. Every day. So let's say 4 days a week besides Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday we keep it for our team meetings and things like that. But Monday through Thursday, we have a training every day, from whether it's in-house CRM trainings or our developers that come in and explain the product to our sales team. Because at the end of the day, if you picking up the phone and calling up a lead and you don't know the product, you're going to end up burning those leads. I always say this: a good agent will say, I have great leads. These leads are great. And then you have a someone who's not, or a mediocre broker, and be like, oh, this guy wasn't interested. These leads aren't that great.
Yeah.
They'll always blame the leads. They'll never look inwards and see that,
How to convert.
buddy, you didn't have a good, you didn't have a great pitch. Your first 30 seconds were weak. Your first 5 seconds were weak. I mean, these days we have the, TikTok mindset. The client decides in the first 3 seconds to 2 seconds whether he wants to continue this conversation. So how you open, how you talk to that lead, whether you're providing value to keep that client on the phone, because there's thousands, there's over, I don't know the real number, it could be 50, 60,000 brokers in Dubai, registered and unregistered. You're competing with everyone in order to pitch a product. So training is very important. The sales process, we've broken it down, so we have this thing called the 7 to 8 sales, 8 steps of the sales process. It starts off with prospecting. How, and for a new agent, that's the most important thing, right?
Of course.
Finding new clients, bringing in more and more clients through the door. So prospecting is the most important cornerstone for a new agent. So the way you market yourself, today's social media is becoming, what are we doing? We have cameras over here and we're talking about real estate because we're providing value over social media. So building a personal brand. So it's not just the company's brand. So of course, the agents that are coming into our company have Springfield as a brand, supporting them in the back. But at the end of the day, each broker needs to build his own personal brand.
Definitely.
And that is something we push all our agents to do. Sometimes you make fun of us that, you guys are making everyone into influencers. And I said, yes, because every broker needs to be an influencer.
They need to sell themselves before they can sell the real estate, right?
You need to influence their decision of a client. You need to influence the decision of a client, whether to buy here or there. So at the end of the day, all of us are influencers in our own way. So
this is, before even social media, real estate always needed influence, right? They wanted to make sure that they're dealing with somebody that has the expertise and the relationships to be able to get them the best deal.
We're selling trust. People often ask, is real estate brokers something going to be, are people going to require real estate brokers in the future with all of this AI coming in and, people can make purchase decisions online with a click of a button, you can buy a property. And I said, yes, it's true. Even though today there's so many developers that have apps where you can do the booking online, and you could be sitting in the US and I could just, with your details, plug them in. It'll spit out a sales offer. You digitally sign that. And all you got to do is send your funds. You could do that over a credit card link. And literally within 3 minutes, you could buy a property in Dubai. But the question is, are you going to? You need someone to tell you that you are making the right decision. This is it's a very, very big decision when you buy real estate. Whether you're buying a studio or whether you're buying a mansion for 50 million, $500,000 or 500 million, doesn't matter.
With trust.
Whoever is making that purchase, it's a big decision to buy real estate.
I use the analogy of restaurants exist even though grocery stores sell all the ingredients of making your own steak at home.
You need the experience.
Exactly.
You go out to a restaurant.
And just people want relationships also. People want to be coached and handheld through transaction.
And we're humans at the end of the day. We are a social species. We need someone to tell me, if you are an expert in that area, that, hey man, am I making the right decision?
Exactly.
If I'm going to Miami today, I want to buy real estate. You're going to be the first, Aamir, is this a good location?
Is it good or not?
ChatGPT told me it's a great location. And all these AI tools are pointing me in this direction. But Aamir, can you tell me, is this the right decision? I'm making $1 million purchase. Am I going to be stuck? So I need I need that human-to-human interaction at the end of the day.
That's one thing that I don't think any robot or any AI will ever be able to replace, right? Is to be able to build that trust, build that relationship, and that face-to-face interaction. Because people at the end of the day, especially in Dubai, they want to be able to be learning from the experts. They want somebody to be able to hold their hands through the processes because, yes, it's not like information wasn't available to be able to make a decision on their own, but they have doubts to be able to trust just technology or information itself.
Exactly. And what we do in our office is we push all our agents to build that personal brand so that they can put themselves out there. Marketing has completely changed in the last 15 years that I've been doing, over 15 years now. I keep losing count of the number of years I've been doing real estate now, but over 15 years. When I started off, it was all about newspapers. So we had Khalij Times, Gulf News. We used to have those super thick real estate magazines that used to be showcasing all the projects. Then everything started going digital. We started seeing portals come up. So we had Dubizzle Property Finder and the likes of these portals that started
That's all
marketing.
the last 10 years.
It's all over the last 10 years. I mean, now that magazine has gone to virtually nothing.
Probably not.
And now brokers, for example, we're spending most of our money on Meta ads, on Google ads. You know, the spend has moved from newspapers to portals and now to online, Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. So the entire marketing has completely changed, and it's so quickly evolving. So even within these segments, at one time, podcasts didn't exist. Now podcasts exist. Now they've become the number one source of marketing and, the place where people consume their content. I used to watch TV before. Now I only watch OTT platforms. So everything is evolving very quickly. Even from a marketing perspective, we have to teach our agents how to stay ahead of that curve, how to attract these 59,000 new investors that are coming in. So 59,000 new investors just in the last 6 months means the number could be 4 times this in terms of the people who are looking at or considering to buy real estate right now.
And we know that the next 6 months in real estate is going to most likely be more busier than the last 6 months, right? Because the summer is usually considered one of the slower parts of the year for Dubai, right? That's just, I think, given.
Every year, it's H2 that we see bigger numbers. So hopefully this year is going to be nothing different, and it's going to be even better than last year for sure.
And we're planning the same thing. We're planning the same thing with our launches. I think every real estate developer is doing the same, right? If I use that from my perspective of how the market's treating us as developers, I would say that you would think if the market's doing bad that you'd be able to buy whatever plot you want to buy.
I mean, buying a plot these days has become the toughest challenge.
And I thought that things will basically go on sale when all this turmoil was happening in the markets around us 3 months ago. But nothing. No plot fell in my lap.
And prices of plots.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we do plot sales quite actively in our office. Some of our biggest transactions this year were plot sales. The 100 million plus. We had one of our top agents, he closed multiple plots of 80, 75, 90. We even had a couple of transactions above 100 million for plots this year.
Beautiful.
So I've sat in meetings where the buyer has said, bro, this is a 100 million plus deal. The guy's not going to find another buyer next day. And literally the difference was 1%. Imagine. I mean, we've agreed. It's pretty much a done deal. And the seller goes like, you know what? No. Think about it. If you can come up, and the buyer goes like, give him an hour, 2 hours, maybe tomorrow. Nobody's coming in a day, right? It's a 100 million plus plot. Imagine. We walk out of the office. This is an actual transaction for a plot we were having where the buyer was 1% away from the actual demand price. And he said, this is going to happen, man. Come on. I mean, this is 1% is nothing.
That is a strong offer.
The seller said, you walk out of this office, this deal is not 100%. And the guy like, dude, he's just saying that it is 100%. You walk out. In the evening, the seller called me and said, Faruk, after you guys left, I had held off this broker. He came into my office, gave me a check for the full ask. I said, my buyer would have given a full ask as well as 1% away. He said, Faruk, 1% is more than $1 million. And that's a decent amount of money. So I'm sorry, but I've already signed and committed.
Wow.
My buyer couldn't believe it. And this is the developer. Obviously, if you're putting an offer of over 100 million, you've done a lot of due diligence on this plot.
Yes, correct.
He had got his engineers, his architect, his consultant. He had been to the plot more than 6 times. And imagine after that, you find out that the plot slipped away from you for 1% difference. And that too on such a large plot. This is only, I think, in Dubai and a time like this, that developers, because things are selling.
Seller's market still.
And developers are selling.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have done a fabulous job with your projects.
Thank you so much. And I would say that, like, when we purchase our plots and when we walk away from a deal, we're really like having FOMO, like, are we really making a fair decision to be able to walk away from it? And usually we don't walk away. We usually are very bullish. We're going to buy whatever plot we like as long as the location is good. We'll pay whatever the seller asks for. However, usually the case is that we don't walk away. It's that some competitor is going to come and up the price.
Yeah.
And so there's enough buyers in today's market still that the seller can ask X, but there's a buyer that's willing to pay Y that's higher. And then it will still basically,
And especially in some of these areas and markets that you're looking at, and your last project in Dubai Island. I mean, Dubai Island is super hot right now in terms of plots.
that's how you.
And because projects are selling out,
Yeah.
there's still value in that area, you know.
Agreed. Yeah.
At whatever price you're selling at your development today,
Yeah.
there's a huge upside for buyers.
I
So
mean, we've only launched 30 days ago, and we didn't even really do a major launch yet. And alhamdulillah, we're 25% sold already.
wow.
And this is without any aggressive pull and during the summer months. And so I feel like Dubai Islands definitely is going to be a market where there's a lot of upside for investors and for developers alike. And there's inventory that's really scarce to find, because if you look at it from a from a location perspective, the lifestyle that it offers, it really doesn't have much competition. You can't find golf courses and 5-star hotels and beaches and
All in the
marinas
same location.
all in walking distance from your project, right? Without having to pay 3,000-4,000 dirhams per foot. So this is something that I feel like developers are going to still continue to outbid each other to be able to get the opportunity
And
to
I
build there.
think right now we're still at the infancy stage of Dubai Island.
True.
You know, once we're going to have, let's say, the mall come up online,
Yes.
you're going to have the construction work started on the golf course. You're going to have a few more resorts opening up on the beach. You're going to see the prices skyrocket.
Sure.
You know, so we are at the takeoff stage for Dubai Island right now. You know, right now even the infrastructure inside the island is, I mean, it's excellent. But once that connection opens up completely to Sheikh Zayed Road, you're gonna have, you know what? I think it's 12 minutes. I think from Sheikh Zayed Road to Dubai Islands now
with the new connector.
With the new connecting road.
Correct.
So I mean, you are in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
10 minutes from the airport, 12 minutes or 14 minutes, let's say, from downtown.
Downtown.
All of your other districts are very well connected, and you're on the water.
Yes, that's the beautiful part of it. That you're in the middle of the city while you're enjoying the serene views of the water and golf courses and marinas.
And we're gonna have a mall that's one of the biggest malls of Dubai opening up in Dubai Island as well. And there's like 9 marinas.
Yes.
3 golf courses, right? Two golf courses.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's an 18-hole golf course and a 9-hole golf course. And then you're going to have these waterfront villas.
Yes.
So there's so much that's coming up in Dubai Islands. I think it's going to become one of the most attractive neighborhoods of Dubai, you know, in the next
we're very bullish. We're very, very bullish on that. And we believe in that product and we believe in that market. And I think, of course, with all the inventory that's available in there, we need to still do our best to be able to stand out. And so what we do is we make sure that we deliver a quality product.
Yeah.
It's not just about giving you a good location, but not a good product on top of that. Of course, good location matters, but on top of that, you also have to make sure you're delivering a good product. And that's one thing that we've invested a lot of time and energy to make sure that our lifestyle, aside from the island itself, that the building can offer you something that is cutting edge.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you guys are bringing your Miami style, you know, your Miami vibe into Main Realty's, you know, developments. It's very nice. I've seen the facades of your building, you know, the interiors, the reception area, the entire experience that you guys are providing. I think you guys are going to do.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. And this wouldn't be possible. Like I said, again, this would not, the success that we've had wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for brokerages and brokers like you, because that right there is really what we depend on to be able to make the public know who we are and how, you know, life can be if they lived in one of our units.
I mean, you know, you guys are lucky to have a very young CEO out there, realtor, who knows new trends, who knows the new style of architecture and design. I think that's very, very important when
very passionate about
developer.
Yeah. For me, like, it's not just about making money. Of course, everyone wants to make money in the business, but for me, it's more about making sure that we deliver a quality product.
And I think even because you're coming in from a different market,
yes,
so you're bringing in new, fresh ideas that probably didn't exist in Dubai, you know, with cutting edge things happening in the US and Miami. So, you're bringing that flair over here, which I think probably, is one of your unique selling points of main realty.
One of the things that I'm so happy to see that's happening in Dubai is that it's focusing more and more on end users, on homeowners, people that are going to truly live in the unit, that care for the view, that care for where's the bed going to look best in the room, how are the schools in the area, how far is it going to be from work.
Yeah.
A lot of brokers, they were interested in selling floors, right? They were interested in just making one transaction where they sell the entire building, maybe instead of selling one unit at a time. But I was trained and brought up in a market where we sold unit by unit.
Yeah.
It took us years to be able to sell off a project that was 200-300 units. Here, sold in hours. Why? Is because usually bulk sales are very popular. But as the market's changing, and as you, as end users and home buyers, sorry, and homeowners are living in these units, everything else matters in the actual transaction. So we designed an office and we designed a sales team that can handhold that buyer through the process and not just try to pressure them to be able to sign now and put that tactic on them.
I think what you've touched upon is a very important fact, because previously, because investors made up most of the market and end users didn't exist as much, you had one guy, like you said, buying floors, so people didn't even care.
Yeah.
And developers started making units smaller and smaller because they were competing on price.
Correct.
Now, I think the kind of buyers that are coming into Dubai, they're not as price sensitive as they used to be maybe a decade ago.
Correct.
People are not as price, they want a quality product.
Yes.
Clients care about, what, I'll pay 10% more, but show me why I'm getting what I'm paying for, and is the money justified?
Yes.
So I think the newer developers and people like yourself as well are providing that quality and are striving to provide that because of the demands of the buyer. The buyers demand a beautiful lobby. They demand, the investor just comes in, does his calculation, goes like, what rent am I going to get? What's the size? What's the unit size? He probably didn't even go through the entire project video. He's like, you know what, just show me the floor plan.
Yes.
Show me the floor plan. Let me see. The floor plans make sense. The sizes make sense. Okay, done, out.
Yeah.
They don't care about, or they don't care as much about the entire experience, but the end user actually cares. We have clients that end up buying into a development just because of the lobby, or just because of the amenities, or they love the fact that the pool is very nice.
Yes.
So all of that now is what developers are paying attention to, and especially in luxury areas like Dubai Island. I think all the developers, including yourself and your competitors, are actually improving the market.
100%.
You guys are improving the city and are obviously, once you guys, this competition is so healthy, I always say, because, now that private developers are really coming up, they're providing actually better products than some of the very older, larger developers, because for them, it's more about community. For you guys, the focus is more on the product.
Agreed. And one of the things that I'm really proud of my team and our marketing is that in our last project, Primero Residences, we had 84 units. We did not have a single bulk deal.
Really? Wow.
Not a single deal.
Individual client.
84 individual units sold to end users. And so we spent time and energy to be able to make sure that they understand what they're buying, location, all the amenities are going to be to their needs, so on and so forth. That finishes. That gives us the courage to be able to say that, okay, that we have something for a changing market. While others, like you said, like a lot of the brokers are going to perhaps be out of business just because they don't want to evolve. I feel the same way about real estate developers, because if real estate developers don't invest the time necessary to be able to educate their end user buyer, then they're not going to be able to build that relationship and confidence for them to continue to do business and be loyal to them.
Plus, all of these individual buyers, now that you said 84 individual buyers, are all going to be ambassadors for your next project.
Yes.
They're going to be ambassadors once they, get their keys.
Correct.
As compared to 8 guys buying 8 floors who probably get handover and probably don't even go to the apartment to see it.
Correct.
They probably give it to their real estate broker and say, rent out these units.
Yeah.
So actually having 84 individual ambassadors of your development company, I think that's going to really benefit you guys for your upcoming projects.
Definitely. That was one of the things that we always focused on from day one. And I think that's one thing that you can always count on us to be able to deliver in the marketplace. Faruk, tell me, where do you see yourself as Springfield in the marketplace in the next few years? Do you plan to open any more offices, hire any more agents?
Yeah. So funny enough, we were having this conversation today with one of my 10-year-old client.
Okay.
So someone who bought a property from me in 2015. He called me because he had moved to Saudi in the last 5 years, and now he's trying to come back into the real estate market. So, he was telling me like, wow, I've been following you. And, we were discussing this. And he asked me the same question. Are you opening an office in Saudi? So that was the first question. I said, you know what? I would love to. And that's probably eventually going to be our next step, is opening international offices.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of international businesses, and we have partners internationally
Okay.
where we are partnered up with a lot of real estate brokerage companies internationally
Nice.
in order to sell Dubai. But eventually opening up multiple offices around the world with the Springfield brand name. So having physical, presence in different markets is going to be our next step.
Amazing.
Currently in Dubai, I mean, I was thinking about opening an office in Saudi Arabia 2 years ago.
Okay.
Then last year, again, we were very seriously considering opening up an office in Riyadh. And every time, the reason why we did not is because we don't want to move our sights from the current Dubai real estate market.
Got it.
Last year, we clocked in 3 billion worth of sales
Mashallah.
in just selling Dubai. We hardly make
There's so many years
sales in Abu Dhabi, maybe a few sales in Sharjah, but I would say probably 98% of the transactions we did were Dubai.
Awesome.
So I feel like if we enter into a new market, probably we won't be able to sell $1 billion there.
Got it.
But to sell $6 billion in Dubai is something we can see.
Got
and
it.
we can see the roadmap, and it's a lot more achievable. And there are companies that are selling $8 billion, $6 billion, $7 billion. So there's very few companies that are selling over $3 billion in Dubai's real estate market, but they exist.
Yeah.
And that is something what we want to achieve in the next 4 or 5 years, is to take this 10x in terms of number, open up international markets. All right. And I think there's a lot of scope for growth for us right now. So definitely opening up new offices. Just this year, we're going to be opening up 2 new offices in Bay Square. So we're expanding our footprint. We're in a 12,000 square feet office. Now we've just purchased the next 2 neighboring offices. So it's going to be expanding our sales team. We're about 160 people right now. So we're going to be taking this up to over, our new office is going to be able to have 88 new staff members.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to expand our team by over 88 people this year.
Real estate agents, Springfield is going to be looking for you guys. So make sure
So hopefully our new office is going to open in the next 2 months from now.
Nice.
So we're in the process of doing the fit out work and everything. So hopefully this year we're going to be expanding the team quite drastically, because the last 1.5 years we haven't increased the count as much, because what we were doing, because now we've been obviously attracting a lot more good talent. So what I noticed is in the last few years, there were some brokerage companies that grew up to 300, 400, 500, and they collapsed. Why? Because they were just aggressively hiring, but they weren't aggressively training.
Okay.
So what happens is, I always say this, that if there's 3 agents that aren't doing too well, or there's 1 agent that isn't doing too well, he's going to go around the office
like
a virus.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's going to spoil 10 other people. And so if you're not closing, I'm not closing, he's not closing. So what it does is it creates a bad environment in the office.
Agreed.
For me, the most important part is everyone in my office should be closing.
Nice.
In 3 months, God forbid, if you don't sell, you're going to start getting so many, you go on performance review. I mean, we push out people if you're not closing. There are other companies that I know that people aren't closing for many, many months. So as an environment, we try to keep it a bit more aggressive in terms of the numbers that you have to achieve. So people have to be running. In this business, I feel like, why would I want to work for this brokerage or that brokerage, is if I get the right environment.
Agreed.
There are guys in my office. Tomorrow we're going for our Millionaire Club trip to Phuket.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we're 33 people.
Isn't that annually, right?
That's annually. Last year we did Bali. This year we're going to Thailand. So we're 33 people flying tomorrow.
Wow.
33 people. These are guys that have made over 1 million in commissions in the last 1 year.
Wow.
In the last 12 months. So imagine, there's 33 guys. All these guys can open up their own companies.
Yes.
Tomorrow. Literally. How hard is it? There's 6,700. There's hardly anything stopping them from opening a new company.
Sure.
But why are they staying here? And many of these guys have been making millions year after year after year after year. Many of them are investors. Actually, most of them are investors now in Dubai. They all are property owners. They buy property and sell their own properties. So why aren't they opening up real estate brokerage companies? Because they believe in the value they get from working in a good, high-performing team.
That's amazing.
The marketing, the support, the infrastructure it takes. A lot of these guys are top closers. but they understand the value of being. So that's what we've been pushing ourselves on, is making sure our guys are becoming better and better at closing. We create a positive environment in the office. We give them things like, obviously, doing a 6-day all paid, all expenses paid trip is, creates that sort of brotherhood, in our company. So I think that for us is more important than just, taking this number of brokers up to 400 or 500, because today with our brand value, we could do that very easily. But we want to make sure that we are hiring top talent. We want to make sure that our brand stands for quality advice. Tomorrow, if somebody thinks, I want to make the right decision, they want to come to our company, not just for, after looking the Instagram videos. That only brings clients through the door.
But of course, but that helps also.
Oh, yeah.
Like you are a leader that doesn't just talk the talk, right? You walk the walk. And this is something that a lot of real estate agents want to see, that this is a person that I'd be coached by, I'd basically be rubbing shoulders with, and then imagine all the other brokers in the city, or sorry, in the office, that are going to be in that same office that I can learn from.
Yeah.
So those are things that I like when I ran a brokerage, that people wanted to see from my company. They wanted to make sure that we can inspire them to become who they would like to see themselves be in a few years from now. That's amazing. So you're headed off to Phuket tomorrow.
Yes.
And you have amazing, achievements that you've already made in the real estate business this year. And I hope that H2 treats you even better.
And yourself as well. All of us, all the players out here in the market.
And I think one of the things that us as developers would love to do is make sure that we can continue to deliver quality products on time, so that we can have brokerages like yours to be able to help us sell the units of the future. And so nice to have spent time with you on this podcast today. And I look forward to hopefully having you on a future podcast in the future.
For sure, man. It'll be my pleasure, Aamir. It's always, and I'll catch you at the gym, man.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, what's up, man?
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Aamir.
And for everybody at home, if you like this, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment below. Take care. See you guys next time.